But if you're looking at it and you go, oh, okay, it needs more, don't do the it needs more thing, or you'll have a day like I had yesterday. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelly. Today we are going to dip into this very large, frankly intimidating Lorac Pro Mega 4 palette. It has 32-ish shades that are all over the board. I gotta be honest, this palette didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. This is the second day in a row I've dipped into it. First day was kind of a train wreck. So I went back into today not to be intimidated by makeup because, you know what, it's just makeup. It washes off and then you can start over again. And if you don't like it, well, you don't have to use it. But what I like to do is find out, can I get at least 3 looks out of one palette? That makes it a better value for me. If I look at a palette and I can't visualize or come up with or work out a work look, a fun look, a date night look, then I got to question whether or not my hard-earned money should be best spent elsewhere. As a reminder, I am not affiliated, sponsored. I do like to play with makeup, but I am not a makeup artist. So if you are interested in, can a lady of a certain age come up with 3 looks that she would be willing to leave the house in using this one palette? Hopefully today will be a little bit better than yesterday when I already tried to film this really fun Lorac Pro Mega 4 palette. Look at how many colors there are in there. The thing with first impressions and trying it on camera for the first time when you don't know the formula and you don't know how the colors are gonna do. I gotta be honest, when I looked at this, I saw all of these shades down here and I thought, these could be a chalky, pasty, pale mess, and they're not colors I gravitate towards. These ones, if these ones are a chalky, pasty, pale mess, these ones could be super washed out, and I was really worried about them not having any kind of color payoff. So imagine my surprise when I dipped into it and oh my word, there was a lot of color and a lot of pigment. I'm gonna come up with a work look first, and then I'll try my other 2 looks. I'm gonna speed you up and play some music so it's a little bit more enjoyable for you than me talking. However, if you want me to do voiceovers of how I'm doing it, or brushes I'm using, or any of those things, please leave a comment down below. I'm gonna get started. So that was a super easy work look. Can this palette get you out the door pretty fast? Yeah, I think so. Just don't overthink yourself. There is a fair amount of kick up. I don't see that it's really transferred under my eyes. So if you're one of those people that do your face makeup first and then do your eyes, you absolutely shouldn't have any issue with that, or at least with the colors I used. I really stuck super neutral. Again, work looks, man, I don't venture out of the brown, earthy, sometimes warmer colors. Yeah, work look, no problem. I'm going to take this off. I'll be right back, and I'm going to dip into something a little bit out of my comfort zone, something that I haven't done before. tiniest tap of that color peacock blue, and I just stamped it along my lashes. And the next thing I know, it was all over. So little tiny bit goes a long way. I don't even know how to describe this palette. There's just so much. There's so many colors, even on a damp brush has transferred into my waterline, which is fine. I don't mind the look. I think a blue with a brown eye is good. Opposite ends of the color wheel. I think it's complementary. I think the blue is pretty. I don't have a problem with the blue color. I have a problem with it going everywhere. I was cleaning it off of my cheeks. Not because of the fallout, but just because if you tried to tidy up a line, then it was smeared all over the place. For a non-work look, yeah, I'm okay with it. Am I wowed by this? I'm still intimidated by this palette. I don't know why this palette scares me. I think if you can limit yourself and not dip into too many, is this a good palette? Can you get a lot of looks from it? Yeah, I think you can. But I want to do a cooler toned, more of a sweater weather, kind of a pretty look. As much of the blue as I could get off, I did. If my under eyes look a little weird and goopy, it's because I've got some of this Weleda, I think it's called Weleda, Skin Food. I'm just gonna leave it on under my eyes and kind of let it soak in a little bit with some of those wrinkly adage of less is more is really, really important with the darker shades in here. You barely have to go into them, and if you want to do any blending or if you have to buff out any colors, you got to use a clean brush. This, while I love this kind of mauve-y look because it's something I totally don't do, the formula was a little hard for me to work with. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, I'm going to be clear about that because I'm not a makeup artist. And sometimes when you have super highly pigmented formulas that you're not familiar with, sometimes it does its own thing and you got to kind of be able to roll with it. And I was not prepared to roll with it. As I said yesterday, I dipped into this palette and I was all kinds of a disaster. So much so that was the first time I've ever said, I'm not even going to share how bad this was because I just couldn't get it under control. I couldn't figure it out. And then I realized I was just using too many colors. I was trying, it's like, oh, there's 32 colors. You got to use all of them. No, you shouldn't use too many of them. If you normally use 3 colors, you've got a week and a half's worth of eye looks from here, so you don't have to duplicate. You don't have to use any of the same colors twice. So there's value in that. I got this off, I think, Nordstrom Rack on clearance. I mean, I didn't buy it. I bought it new, but I didn't buy it when it was first released. I haven't seen any of the reviews on this. I don't know what other people are saying about this palette. Now that I have a better understanding, and now that I know that I can rein myself in a little bit and not to get too overboard and go, oh, I'm going to dab into 8 different colors. If I just know, pick 3, stick with the 3. If you know how to do your eyes in 3 colors or less, this is a fantastic palette, which seems strange because there's so many colors in here. Did I get three different looks from this palette? Yeah. Do I think you can get a lot more than 3? Yeah. This is not a cold and on-demand palette. This is a learning curve. Get to know each other. Become friends. Become friends with the palette. Will I dip into this again? I think so. As a lady of a certain age, would I leave the house with any of the 3 looks that I just did? Yes. I learned how to rein it back a little bit. And I think that's kind of my takeaway with this particular palette. Don't go overboard. Don't expect it to behave like other palettes you might have. Take it with what you will. I hope you enjoyed this. I would love it if you subscribed, if you could ring the bell so you get notified when I have new content coming up. Above all, subscribe and leave me a comment. Did you like any of these? Would you do any of these? Do you have this palette? I'll see you in the next video. It was just a work look. Like, how can you screw that up? I mean, people do, but I'm going to meditate. I'm going to contemplate, pontificate.